Self-esteem is the way we look at ourselves. How worthy do we think we are? It is our inherent sense of value. So there are three basic ways in which we can make out how much self-esteem we have. One is, how do we treat ourselves? Yes, suppose we were to make a mistake, suppose we were to do something that we should not have done. How do we talk to ourselves? A person with high self-esteem is okay with making mistakes. He tells himself, yes, I learned from this. I will do something different next time. And a person who has lower self-esteem will tend to beat himself up. So basically, the critic that is there on the inside gangs up with the critique that is there on the outside. These two get together and they beat the person up. So if somebody comes and tells you, you are no good, the critic that is sitting on the inside agrees and says, yes, you are absolutely right, and then they start beating the person up. So this is one way in which two parts of our own personality start fighting against each other. So if I have two hands and I pull them in two directions with full force, there is so much energy that is dissipated, and the net result is I get nothing. I have spent all this effort and energy and there is no real result out of it. So in this situation, it helps if the critic on the inside can look at things objectively and say, yes, this person on the outside is criticizing and is saying these things to me. Let me see if there is some merit and some value in what is being said to me, and I can do things differently next time. But this person does not start beating himself up and saying, look at you, you did this again, you should have learned, why did you do that, so on and so forth. So this is one way in which self-esteem can be estimated. The way you treat yourself is a very big indicator of your level of self-esteem. Second is the way we treat other people. So when we see a person who's bullying others, who's dominating others, and who's being extremely temperamental, that has a flavor of low self-esteem as well. A person who loves and respects himself usually tends to treat other people with love and respect too. A person who values himself has a way of valuing other people too. So that doesn't mean that we are not going to question and we are not going to call people out when they do things that we don't want them to do. Definitely we set boundaries, definitely we go and tell them that there's something they have done to violate the boundaries or something we did not like, but it is about doing it with a sense of value. We question the usefulness of the behavior while retaining the person's overall self-worth. So the way a person treats other people is an indicator of his self-esteem. When we are bullying them, or we are shouting at them, or we are extremely temperamental, it is a question mark on how we treat ourselves, because the way we treat ourselves is a reflection of the way we treat others and vice versa. Third indicator of self-esteem is how we allow other people to treat us. So if somebody has said or done something that I do not like, and if I have not really reflected this back to him, there's a chance that I could end up feeling really bad about myself. So this has happened sometime in our life where somebody has mistreated us, we did not say anything, and then we continue to mull with those feelings. That's because somewhere the voice inside our head says, you did not even say anything, you did not even stand up for ourselves. So this is a question of self-esteem. This is a place where we need to reflect it back to others. So it's not necessary that we should start treating them the way they are treating us. We can be assertive in our communication. At the same time, something needs to be said or done about it. Otherwise, we don't feel good about ourselves. So these are the three main indicators of self-esteem. 1, the way we treat ourselves. 2, the way we treat other people. And 3, the way we allow other people to treat us. Now 1 and 2 can be evaluated at a thought and feeling level. In other words, my self-esteem depends on the way I think about myself and therefore the way I feel about myself. So I can work around that. I can have some coaching and some amount of self-work that can increase my level of self-esteem and empower me to have better levels of self-esteem. Second is the way I treat other people. Again, this can be very well coached. We can work around our thoughts and feelings and change the way we look at other people. We can change our perspective and we can change our feelings. The third is something that just needs to be controlled at a behavior level. In other words, we cannot really change the way other people think about us or feel about us because that is not in our circle of influence. At this point, the only thing that we can do is change the way they behave with us by telling them that this is what we will take and this is what we will not take. So first and second, we can change at a thought and feeling level, and the third indicator is primarily at a behavioral level, because thoughts and feelings of other people are not really in our control. That's not in our circle of influence. So these are the three main pillars of self-esteem, where we can get the indicators by looking at these points. Three very useful points. Look at yourself, look at other people, and go over these points to see how do you feel about yourself, about others, and the world. It is our overall sense of self-worth and whether we feel good about ourselves or not. Primarily, when we make a mistake, it helps for us to be a little gentle on ourselves and tell ourselves it is okay to make a mistake. It is okay that I did something that did not work out or get me the result that I wanted to. What is not okay is getting together with external critics and beating myself up. That is not useful. Making myself feel less than positive is not useful.